again, like if you want to train and mentor, you need to be aware that you have to provide oversight. You have to be reviewing those deals and taking, because you have to mitigate your risk, because you don't want to risk your ability to submit to that lender because of somebody else's file, right?
Yeah. And if you are a new agent and you're listening to this, you have to understand that that person has to be compensated for taking that risk. Like that's literally how the world works. Like people don't take risks without compensation or without a payoff, right? Like even like my son doesn't do a backflip on his skis taking without getting the endorphin hit, right? Like he is doing it because he wants the hit, right? But there was a risk associated with it. And so I think people have to remember like that's how the world works. So
so your kid also doesn't learn to do backflips without a coach, right? You need to pay a coach to let your kid actually be able to learn how to do backflips, or you're a terrible mother. If you but ultimately I think too, like, that's the same thing for this business. I say this a lot, 50% of nothing or 100% of nothing is nothing, right? If you can't get a deal across the finish line because you don't have access, you don't know how to do the deal, you don't know what documents to collect, you don't have a relationship with the lender, you have no idea where to send that file, because let's face it, on day one, none of those things. So if you don't have somebody who's there to support you in all of that, it doesn't matter what your split is. You're not getting paid because you can't get a deal done, and you're not going to be competitive, against the bank or against other brokers or anything like that if you're not, if you don't know what you're doing, right? So it doesn't matter what the splits are, right? At the end of the day. So you want to find out. I mean, back to the questions list. I had a list of 10 questions that I've posted before, and but number one, what are they paying you? What are the splits going to actually be? Are they sharing out the points programs? What are you getting for that money, right? Are you getting, are there events? Are there trainings? How many scheduled weekly trainings are they doing? Are they monthly training? Are they weekly training? Do they have access? Do you have direct access to lenders? Do you have to submit through an underwriting desk, or can you submit and build those relationships yourself? That's something, different setups, different models, and that works differently for different people, right? How do they deal with out of province deals? How do we deal with, there's a million, I can't remember everything on my list now, but
I'm going to stop you. Can we get that list? Can we get a link to that list, or will you give it to us and we can maybe post it in the comments for the podcast so that people
sure.
have it?
I posted it on the newbie page 5 years ago or 4 years ago. So so it's there's a list of 10 items. It's completely comprehensive of like why you want to ask these questions. And again, like those questions you're not looking for, there's not one brokerage that's just better than everybody else.
No.
Some people want to work in an office space, right? So some people want to work with a team that's close to them, that they can go to the office because they learn. You have to identify how you learn best. If you're the type of person who's going to learn best by going to an office and listening to other people do mortgages, then you need to find a brokerage that's local to you, right? If you can learn by watching Zooms, tuning in, working at your own pace and things like that, then you might be more aligned with a brokerage that's online, right? If you are part-time, some brokerages will have different setups for part-time agents, and some mentors will have different programs, right? We have some mentors on our team who do an evening weekly call with their agents because a bunch of their agents are part-time. So they count for that, right? Time zones is a factor, right? I'm in Alberta. I've got agents in Ontario, and I had to say to them a few times, I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, you don't get to phone me at 8 a.m. your time. I'm not up. That is 6. I am not a 5 a.m. clubber, much like, if Tara Borley, she's like 4:45 every day, should be better than the 5 a.m. clubbers. By the time her and I check in with each other at like 8 every day, she's half of her day is gone. I'm like groggily crawling out of bed. I'm not taking agent phone calls at 6 a.m. So what happened actually was I had a couple of Ontario agents that would wait until 8:01 a.m. Alberta time. So it'd be like, they'd have like all their questions from the morning be 10 a.m. for them. And they're just like waiting for and then the minute that it would roll over, because I was like, don't call me before 8 a.m.
That's so
And
funny.
then I'd get the phone call at 8:01 every morning, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, so it was like, you have to put I don't know. Anyway, so time zones, right? Like what time zone are you are you in, and does that work for you, right?
Yeah,
so
totally. And so, okay, so lots of questions to ask brokerages. Do you think there's questions they need to ask themselves? Like obviously, Yeah, I'll let you speak to that. But I think that sometimes when I think about mistakes I've made, a lot of it hasn't been where I went. It was because I wasn't clear on who I was, what I wanted, how I wanted to show up.
It's interesting how many people I think do struggle with that aspect of just not actually having an idea of who they are as a person when they're coming into this industry. Like, or what it is that they think that they want. I think one of the toughest challenges that most people have is if you are someone who has been, I want to use the word institutionalized, like if you were like, if you've been in jail for 20 years. Yeah, like if you've been in a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, as an employee for 20 years, where
Yeah.
you have, and let's be clear, like this is what our education system does. Like we train people to be really good employees, right?
Yeah.
We have a schedule, you have your break, your lunch break, your break,
Yeah.
your 9 to 5, you're going to sit at your desk and you're going to take orders from your teacher and you're going to do what you're told, right? And then you go to you go to that job and you work in that job 9 to 5 and you take orders and you do what you're told, right? Your work is dictated at you, not
Yeah.
from you, generally speaking, right? Unless you're in sort of higher management roles, that sort of thing, right? So
Yeah.
what we see is a lot of the time people are, they spent 20 years reacting to work that's been put to them, right?
Yeah.
Given to them. And so that mindset change to being self-employed and realizing that work's not necessarily coming at you until you're going for it,
You gotta
right?
put the gas pedal down. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to put yourself out there and go get that work,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
the proactive versus reactive approach, and that's something that I think a lot of people have to have that conversation with themselves. It usually hits them like 6 months in, and they haven't made any money,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "But what am I doing wrong?" And I'm like, all of the things, like you haven't done
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You're waiting to be told what to do next, right?
Right.
And but you need to like be getting up every day thinking about what you're going to do that day to go out and drum up business and how to get a deal done and all that stuff, right? So
Right.
I think that is a number one, is a really big one, is like what's your relationship with what your self drive or that proactivity, and do you have that, right? Have
Yeah.
you like given that to yourself? I think the other one, because yeah, like I say, there's no boss, at 9:01 that's like, you're late, right? If you
Yeah.
don't rock up to your desk until noon, no one's checking in on you. And that accountability to yourself can be one of the hardest factors, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, some really hard questions to yourself around how are you going to hold yourself accountable? What does it look like being your own boss, right? What does it
Right.
look like taking that mind change of being an employee to being self-employed? The next one is, how do you learn?
Yeah.
Are you even aware of how you learn? Like, I know that I learn by doing.
Mhm.
If someone lectures to me and tells me what to do, I am like, sounds great. And then I immediately don't do it, or I immediately forget it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to read by just like reading a book. I'm not going to learn, I'm not going to learn by reading a book. I'm not going to learn by just watching somebody else do something. I need to physically take the instructions and do the task for me to learn how to do it,
Yeah.
which really sucked in school. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not a good student for
Yeah.
that, right?
Fair. Yeah.
You're better in shop class, not in math class, right? Uh, but yeah, how do you learn, right?
Yeah.
And this was something that I learned from one of my mentees. One of my mentees told me when I was bringing her on, she said, I learn by repetition, and I am going to ask you the same thing multiple times, and you need to be okay and not think I'm stupid when I ask you the same questions multiple times. And so I was like, okay, I'm prepared for this.
Yeah.
And going into mentorship with her meant, when she did ask me the same questions over and over again, I started to learn how to teach with that, because I was like, listen, darling, you know the answer to this.
Yeah.
I want you to now tell me what you think the answer is, because we've done this before. And really what that was a confidence piece, right? Like when she
Yeah.
started saying the answers back to me, and she started to realize how much she knew. Now she doesn't necessarily ask, she doesn't do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
So but yeah, how do you learn, right? You have to understand what is the best setup for you and how you learn. There's a lot of agents that move around brokerage to brokerage because they just keep looking for somebody to sort of solve that problem for them. But you can't solve a problem that you don't know the question, right? And
Yeah.
so if you don't know what you're missing, how do you know what you're asking for?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what else. Accountability. How are you going to get business?
Yeah, that was gonna be that I was gonna say is, like, you have to have a plan, and, it's funny, people, I think, to do, like, a business plan, and they're like, month 1, I'm gonna do this, month 1, but, like, I actually, when I became a mortgage broker, wrote out a business plan, and I put really basic stuff in there, like, I am going to have business cards printed. I send 100 Christmas cards every year, and I'm actually going to force myself to put in my family Christmas letter, like, I am now a mortgage broker. I'm really, really looking to grow my business. I have shamelessly added my card to your Christmas card. If you know anyone that wants to have a conversation, I'd be so grateful if you would support me. If you hear the word mortgage, please say my name. And, that was part of a business development strategy, like literally just getting the courage to put that in my Christmas letter that year to just tell 100 people in my network that I was doing it. Right. And I think
Yeah.
that's how, like, granular that business development strategy has to get, is like kind of like, you're a solopreneur. Like, this isn't like, hey, I'm gonna get a billboard. It's like,
Yeah.
where are you just gonna, like, organically snake your way through your community, talking positively about being a mortgage broker and asking people to lean in and support you, right?
Yeah. And yeah, we ask a lot of agents, like, so what's your plan? We have a questionnaire that they fill out when they come to join our team. And on there, it's like we ask for their plan. What's your plan? Where are you going to get leads from? And I'll tell you, like, 100% of them, they write in their plan, maybe it's not 100, maybe it's 98% of them, they write in their plan, they're like, social media. Okay, what does that mean? Like,
What does that mean?
oh, you're going to get business from social media? Okay, or are you going to go hound Facebook groups, local community groups? Are you going to start a Facebook group? Are you going to do Instagram posts? Are you doing Reels? Are you doing TikToks? You can't just say, like, well, I'm going to use social media to get business. Okay, that's also really hard to use social media
Yeah.
to get business. The conversion rate is really difficult. So you have to be really, really strategic about that plan if you're going to do that, right? So
And
what is that?
consistent.
Consistent. Yeah. What does that look like, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll also all put, like, networking. Okay.
Where?
Where? Yeah. With who? Like, do you have a plan for networking?
Yeah.
Are you going to join a networking group? Are you going to start a group? What does that look like? Right? Be really specific. Because if you come into it on day one, you're like, hey, I'm going to network today. At what? At where? You're like, what event are you going to? Who are you phoning? What are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
What does that kind of look like? So,
Yeah.
So how, ask yourself that, like, how are you going to get business? Right?
Yeah.
Do you have a community of people that will support you? Are you, here's what I'll throw out there that I think I wish I had asked myself in the beginning. And it took me quite a few years to ask myself this one, but, who do you surround yourself with? Are you surrounded by supportive and positive people?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you have people in your immediacy that are negatively impacting your, mental state or your mental perception about how this, about success, right? Mm-hmm. So, are they there? Are they cheerleading you on? Are they, like, clapping in your corner? Do you have a partner in the background that's just like, go, babe, go, like, do it, do it, do it.
Mm.
Or are they, or do you have, like, the naysayers or the people who question your judgment or the people who are telling you that you're not going to make it? Because I had people say that to me. I had a really good friend say to me, oh, well, isn't that job just going to be done by computers in a few years? And I was like, cool. So then I spent like 2 months ruminating on that instead of going out and building a business. Guess what? 8 years later, job not taken over by computers, right? So, like, who are the people that you're spending your time with, and do you need to cut anybody out?
Yeah.
Right? If they're, are there negative chains that are sort of tied to your legs that are holding you back, right?
Yeah.
So
I think, and this is the thing, is it's like, it's at the beginning, it's when you're building your business, but it's also like, we've all had those years as new agents where you're so proud of yourself. You get 4 deals, 5 deals, they all fund. And then you get the next month and you've got another 4 deals and you lose 3 of them to RBC or something. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I'm so heartbroken. That's such a loss of commissions. I worked so hard. I'm so embarrassed. I have to cancel those files, and like those months happen. Even when you're really, really good at your job, they happen. And so who is there to be like, dude, keep going? Like, honestly, like, what did you learn? How are you going to do it better next time? How are you going to do it different? Like, was this in your control? Was this out of your control? Are you able to get a Google review out of those clients? Are you able to get a renewal out of those clients? Could you get a referral from those clients? Can you stay positive, right? And when you have people that are just like dragging you down and you feel crummy on one of those months, it gets really hard. So I think that's such a good point. Like, who is behind you? And that includes yourself. Like, did you put 6 months of income away so that, like, if you do have a bad month, you're okay? Are you, strong enough to look in the mirror in the morning and be like, you know what? I am okay. I'm going to make 10 cold calls today. And if all 10 of them are a bomb, I'm okay with it. I'm going to do it again tomorrow, So it's like, are you in your own court believing that you can do it too, right? So,
Yeah, and I think that self-confidence piece, it's something that I hear consistently from agents over and over again is that's the part that they lack the most, right? Because for a lot of people, we come into this industry from something else, right? Most people don't become a mortgage broker when they're 18 and they graduate from high school,
yeah.
right? So they come into this industry after doing something else for a long time that they were good at, right? So I was really good at all of my previous jobs.
Yeah.
Day one of this job, I was not very good at this job. I didn't know anything, right?
Same.
Yeah. So
Day 1 million, I'm still feeling like I'm about a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, like I still have months where I think, God, no one's ever going to phone me again. Why would anyone want to do their mortgage with me? I'm the worst broker in the world. I can't believe I did that. Like, I can't believe I think that, right?
Yeah.
But like day one, I mean, we all sucked at this. And I think one of the things that's really, really hard is coming into a new industry where you were really good at something for 20 or 30 years. You were really good at that thing. And then you change career paths. And now you're in a place where you have to learn something. You don't know all the answers. And you're really used to that, right? You're really used to being the person that knows the answers and you know what you're doing. And so this is a very unsettling and uneasy feeling when you come into something new where you don't know what you're doing and you need to ask for help.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, especially those of us over 40, asking for help is like, you might as well saw off both of my feet at the ankle. I don't want to ask for help. I will still shovel the driveway on my nubs. Okay. I don't want to ask for help for these things. Right. So that does tend to be one of the biggest like holdbacks. So you need to like take that ego, take that pride, flush it down the toilet and be willing to be like, all right, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm going to learn it. And here we go. And it doesn't matter how good I was at previous XYZ job. Today, we're going to get really good at doing something new. And every single person that is successful in this business started from the same place. None of us knew what we were doing on day one. Right.
Yeah.
So there's but you need to continually show up for yourself, right? With that, right? Like you have to be like, take the experience that you previously had and be like, okay, I did that thing. I was really good at that thing. Here's my next challenge. And I'm going to get really good at this too.
Yes.
Instead of like dwelling on, well, I can't believe I'm not there yet. I can't believe I don't know this yet. I can't believe, listen, you will never know everything there is to know about mortgages. Like
never.
There are still days I teach underwriting. There are still days where I learn something where I'm like, I can't believe I didn't know that. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, but that's the beauty of a job like this, right? You're going to continually learn. That's why we get into it. We want the constant diversity. If you're someone who just wants to know exactly what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, every single day, and everything stays the same all the time,
don't be a mortgage broker.
Get like, not for you. This is not for you, right?
Yeah, totally.
I still cry. Like, I still have days where I get so frustrated about a file or a scenario or a situation, or just something not going right, that I will have like a mini break, have one of those moments of frustration where you're like, yeah, that happens. But you know what also happens is like the moments of pure elated joy and ecstasy of like, I can't believe I got this through. I can't I'm on top of the world. I'm the best mortgage broker in the world. And then 20 minutes later, you're like, I'm the worst mortgage broker in the world.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Okay. So how much time, like, I think this is obviously unique per person, but I'm curious what you think. Obviously you offer your underwriting training courses, I offer cohorts. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on in the industry, where people can do training. Lots of the networks and brokerages have amazing training. Lots of the brokerages have weekly training. Lenders are doing training. Lenders are always offering like, hey, jump on this webinar. We're doing this. How much of that feels like the right amount to you? Like when you're a new agent, talk to me about what you think.
I think when you're brand new, your job is 90% getting business and 10% learning the business, right? So if you've got, like, I don't know, a 40-hour work week,
Yeah.
how, like, you're out of your 40 hours. Listen, I don't do math on the top of my head for a living. Like 30 hours should be getting business, 10 hours should be learning the business, right?
That's
Like
75-25.
75. Okay, whatever. Listen,
So
I
it would be
don't,
4 hours, 4 hours
whatever.
on
Yeah,
training.
but you know what?
Maybe
4 hours a week of like dialing into training, that's a
Mhm.
good chunk. Like if you're on average over the course of a year, I think 4 hours, like I think that is, so okay, all right. So my math's not bad, 90,
Yeah.
10, right?
Yeah. And
That's
so hang on. I want to stop everyone and I want to actually do that math with you because
okay.
so that's 90-10. So 4 hours a week only is 10% of your time on training. And that means 36 hours you should be prospecting. And I think I'm just going to like tell everybody this is the golden nugget of this podcast between Jill and I. There's zero chance that most new agents are spending 36 hours a week on prospecting.
Zero chance. Like
Right?
most of the conversations I have with new agents, I would be surprised if they were spending 4 hours a week prospecting.
Exactly. It's the absolute reverse. And so they
Yeah.
get super lost in the training and the lender calls and this and this and this. And it's like, because what's happening is they turn on their computer and a great lender's doing an alt lending seminar. So they do a 1 hour online alt lending. They are half paying attention. They're half texting on the side. They're doom scrolling on Instagram, but their computer was on for 2 hours before and 2 hours afterwards to also look at Facebook and read a weird Facebook group and not connect with anyone. So they feel like they worked all day. And that was
Yeah.
5 hours of work for a 1 hour Zoom meeting about a deal type that they don't even have that lead on their desk yet. When really in that time, they could have done a, 5 hour bender on cold calls. And you're way better off taking 10 no's an hour for 5 hours, because that's 50 reps with your scripting, than you are on a computer that you're listening to a Zoom call that you're not really tuned in on, right? And
Yeah,
so
but be accountable to your time. Spend the 1 hour on the Zoom call,
yeah,
but the hour before and the hour after, get on the phone, right? Like
exactly.
the rest of that workday. Because yes, and this is I get agents to do in one of my some of my coaching groups. We do a time audit. I'm like, I want you to track yourself for 2 weeks. Like, what are you actually spending your time on? And the thing that comes back at the end of that every single time consistently is they're all like, I am so shocked at how little work I actually get done in a day.
Yeah.
How little time I'm actually working. Like I'm picking the kids up from school, I'm changing the laundry, I'm getting dinner prepped, I'm cleaning the
my
bathroom.
dog.
I'm walking the, like I'm there, and then they're like, but I felt like I worked all day because I sat down for an hour in the morning, and then I did an hour in the afternoon, and then I did 20 minutes here, and then I jumped onto this Zoom there, and they feel like they're working, but you're not actually accomplishing anything, and you didn't move your business further whatsoever. So yeah, like be really accountable to yourself and what that time looks like. How much time are you actually putting into it, right? And
Yeah.
and so I use a 40-hour work week as an example, but if you're only able to give, if you're doing this part-time, you need to understand how many hours a week you can give to this. What does that time frame look like? Because like if you're getting up in the morning at 6,
Yeah.
you get the kids ready, you drop them off, you get to your full-time day job, you get home, you got to pick the kids up, you get home, you're eating dinner. It's now 7 o'clock at night. You got to get the kids to bed. You
Yeah.
got 2 hours in the evening to work on your business. What are you doing with those 2 hours?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you just watch a Zoom video for an hour and then you maybe write a blog post, you didn't do anything to actually go out and get business, right?
Right.
So how intentional are you going to be with your time?
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, like look at your calendar, look at your schedule, identify where and what you can actually do within that schedule, and then be really intentional about, okay, I need to maximize my prospecting time. I need to maximize my networking, like all of those things. And I need to schedule in at least this many hours of training a week so that I can learn.
I am so grateful for all of this. I think there are a million ideas that will be so effective to so many new agents. Jill has promised us her 10 questions new agents should ask she's going to give to us, so we can roll those out too. Anything else? Do you have any closing final thoughts that you think that we should have as we roll into 2026?
I think my closing thoughts on this would be, probably some generic advice that I kind of give anybody that's new coming into
Yeah.
this, right? Is you're going to hear, there's a lot of noise. There's noise from within the industry. There's noise from your family and your friends. There's going to be noise from, potential referral partnerships. There's noise in the news. There's noise, there's a lot of negative noise that's out there. I remember when I joined, like I said, one of my friends suggested that, this job was going to be completely taken over by computers. And there was
Yeah.
people in this industry who said the same thing. They were like, don't bother getting into this. You're
So
not going to make
crazy.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the industry's going to die, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are, like,
Yeah.
super success, still rocking and rolling. Like, and if I had listened to that noise, I would not be where I am today. Right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, number one, there's a lot of noise. Block it out. Tune into the positive. Pay attention to the positive. You're going to be, I mean, this is a phrase I think that gets used by a lot of people, especially in this industry, but you will be the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, right? So
Yeah.
choose who you spend that time with. Choose your team properly. Choose, the support network that you have. Who are your cheerleaders? Who's got your back, right? Because you want to surround yourself with success if you want to be successful, right?
Yeah.
Lots of noise in that regard, lots of negativity in that regard. Just block it out. And then the other thing that I'll add to that is, there is a lot for sale. There's a lot for sale in this industry. I'm sure it's the same in the real estate side, right? There's a lot of coaches and, and training and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot for sale. Remember when you're reading some of the noise that's out there, like, people have angles, people are selling stuff. So sometimes,
Yeah.
topics will get brought up, things will get posted, arguments will get started. And usually it's always because, this guy's in partnership with that guy and they're trying to sell this product and this guy over here has got a competing product and then they're all fight. Like, just remember, like, keep your, keep that, I don't know, with the sense of analysis, I guess, about you.
Do your
When you
due diligence. Yeah.
yeah,
On
do your
that
due diligence.
stuff, right? Yeah.
Other people selling, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of it's great stuff. Like, there's a lot of fantastic coaches and fantastic trainers and they're offering really, really good stuff. Just do your due diligence on it and know that you don't have to be reactive to everything. Be proactive. If you're looking for a business coach, research them the same way that you research a brokerage,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Exactly. I love
I
that.
don't know. That's a weird final thing to end with. It's like,
Yeah.
welcome to the industry. Stay positive. Everybody's going to sell you something.
I don't think it's a weird thing to end with. I think if I got anything from this, it was that you're super authentic and super honest and totally okay with asking hard questions and having hard conversations. And that's what we need is more of that, more transparency, more honesty, more encouragement for folks that are getting started. And so thank you, Jill, for so much of your time this morning. I appreciate it.
You said something there, and maybe this will be my final. This will be my final thing. I'm going to
Okay.
add one more thing. The authenticity piece. People want to work with people that they like and that they connect with. Be yourself, right? Just be yourself. Unless yourself sucks. If you suck as a person, maybe you should work on that. I don't come up with a new personality, but people want to work with people that they like. And that authenticity piece is actually, I think, key. And I think there are so many agents who try to be something that they're not.
Yeah.
We joked here about how you and we could talk for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm the kid that got made fun of for talking too much, that got told to shush constantly, that got told, talks too much on a report card, right? And it was constantly fed to me like it was a bad thing. I got made fun of for it. It was this piece that I was bullied for, whatever. And so I grew up for most of my childhood thinking that this was a really negative quality of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out this quality makes me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Sometimes the things that you think are a negative quality about yourself
Mm-hmm.
are actually the thing that's going to make you super successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So lean into your strengths, lean into who you are and what you're good at, and and take it and run with it, right? Because
Yeah.
if I listened to everybody that told me I talk too much, we wouldn't have recorded an hour-long podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And what a tragedy that would have been. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jill. Always such a pleasure and excited to see how this one turns out.